Well, it's short. It's a short one, 1561 S1561 attachment. It's a very short because it was interrupted by a phone call, and I sort of couldn't get back to it. So I said, something of eternal life, and thank you, Heavenly Dad. But that's what the subject of this recording is here, isn't it? That we're on now. It takes up the notion of attachment. You're practicing attaching. I mean by that, finding fellowship, partners in life, eternal life, here, in the transitory. And certainly the secular does it in terms of, male, female, having children and families and so on. And without, most often, putting God first. But we're practicing fellowship, putting God first. And that changes family into something vast. And the love relationship is to all. Because he loves all. And we are like him. And I don't mean making love to all, of course, not remotely. I'm talking about spiritual things, aren't I? I'm talking about true fellowship, true relationship, eternal. How is that achieved? I mean, we see so much of the transitory here, don't we? It's achieved by putting God first, your God first. You are automatically in fellowship with anyone else that's trying to do such. You say, no, what happens if they're seeking their view of God and it's quite different to my view of God? That's not going to make good fellowship, is it? Well, surprisingly, it does. Because both of you are realizing that you must put your God first. And you care for each other accordingly. That doesn't mean you taking on their God or them taking on your God. But your care and fellowship of each other will draw you together and will actually draw you together much faster than on your own. That's surprising, isn't it? But haven't you noticed how even in a secular marriage, the wife says, mind, there's a car there, when you're driving. 2 is better than 1. 2 sets of eyes on the road are much safer than 1 set. When I'm driving with my kids, I say, look, driving's a tricky thing, love. When I'm on a roundabout, don't chat about other things. I need to concentrate, especially being a man. Not very good at multitasking. I can't really be thinking about you, what you're saying, and the problems at hand, driving safely. And they cooperate in this because they're adorable. And if they're aware, if they remember that I'm driving, they help accordingly. They enter into responsibility of the care of all of us, you see. I think it's good training, don't you? Where was I? Yes. You learn to care for others here. It is community. In that sense, Kriyananda got it right. He felt that his guru told him to encourage the building of communities, and he has. He's built 9 or 10 or so major communities across the world, and especially in the United States where he started. And but many more minor sort of associations and fellowships. Many, many more. Oh, that's good going, isn't it? How lovely. I mean, they're a bit sort of cuckoo from the world's point of view, to say the least. You would say away with the fairies like Rudolf Steiner schools and so on. But they're quite lovely in their way. Yes, quite simply, you're here to practice fellowship. I mean, we're not here to practice marriage in the secular sense. Well, the Ananda organization thinks that you can do both. I'm not sure, really. I think one's own children need to experience what they get in the secular world. Christian children don't necessarily get, for instance, religious children don't by any means necessarily get the upbringing they need. They need to feel special, not just treated the same as all the other children by the parents that are in the world. They need special attention, focused love. If you spread your love between everybody, well, if it's equally spread, it's of no value to anybody, because it's minimal, isn't it, divided by a million other people. I don't know, what do you think? It's all very creative, isn't it? And this is the point of it, of course. A family is infinitely creative. And you're going to be in an infinite family for eternity. Infinitely creating. In whatever dimension is appropriate. With our wonderful Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad. Well, I assume you feel a bit confused about this. It's very simple, really. We're loving and kind. And we choose good company. And that's what fellowship is. So we naturally gravitate together to bless and care for each other. And that is the company you truly need. Not as the world needs. For instance, you don't need to give birth to children yourself. There's so many persons in the world that will benefit from your love and care. You don't have to just focus on someone you've physically given birth to. It's as simple as that. We are automatically in fellowship with anyone that's truly seeking to love their God with all their heart, soul, mind and strength. Of course, some are more childish than others and have to be treated with kid gloves. And they do rush off and play and quite well. That's the complexity of fellowships. And they all experience this. Here in this universe, anyway. Because we're surrounded by children, aren't we? And, well, we offer rescue, but not always ready for it. But they are always ready for the next lesson. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.